Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1283A and today's date is May 18th, 2017, and the title of the episode is Central Bankers Deep State Have Set Up the Economy to Crash Under Trump. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I placed an interview with Stephen Lenman on the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel. So if you go over to YouTube and you type in X22 Report Spotlight, it'll bring you right to the video. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com site, scroll down a little bit, look over to the right-hand side. You'll see the video there, and you can play it right on the site. Or you can go to NewsSentinel.com, same thing. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, and you can play the video right on the site. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we can see, a lot of corporations, their earnings, they're being broadcast out to the public. And a lot of companies, their earnings are not looking that great. Now, these corporations, they've been downsizing, they've been laying off people, they've been shutting manufacturing plants, they've been doing stock buyback, they're doing everything they possibly can to make their company look profitable. And we're starting to see that a lot of companies, well, they're running out of ammunition to keep the illusion that they are profitable. Remember, they need sales to stay profitable. Yes, they can do a buyback of stocks, they can close manufacturing plants, they can lay off people, but that will not make them profitable. Maybe in that quarter, but long term, if they don't have the sales coming in, they'll have to continually cut and cut and cut until there's nothing left. We see Cisco right now, that their revenue, well, it has plunged between 4 and 6%. Now, Wall Street, they were expecting a modest 1% drop. And they're looking at their sales, their revenue, and they're saying, well, in the future, we're not seeing any type of improvement. Actually, we're going to see a decline of revenue moving forward. Now, the strange thing is, they really didn't give an explanation of why they thought this was going to happen. Now, of course, most likely they were holding back to say that, well, it's because of the economy. It's not doing well. And corporations that are out there that are buying our products, they're not really purchasing as much as they used to. And we notice a lot of corporations, they don't like saying that the economy is not doing well until the very end where everything really starts to fall apart. Now, when Trump was taking office, he was promising that jobs would be coming back to the United States. Now, this doesn't mean that jobs and manufacturing, that they're coming back now. This is not the economy that will be able to support this. What he was talking about was later on. Now, everyone thought, wow, since he mentioned it, all these jobs are coming back. And I know he was tweeting out there that, look, this company promised this company promised 10,000, this company promised 15,000. These were just promises. They didn't do anything. And what we can see right now is that car sales, well, they've been declining. We see that a lot of the automobile manufacturers, well, it looks like things are not going well for them. And they're going back on their promise. They said they can't do it at this time. They cannot bring the amount of workers that they said into the country. They can't boost manufacturing right now. And we're starting to see that GM and Ford, well, they're making cuts to their U.S. workforces. And right now, it's an impossibility because this economy that we are in right now, it cannot support it. Actually, auto sales right now, they have fallen for 4 straight months in a row. Inventory is near record highs. Used car sales prices are falling. And R&D budgets have become bloated. And interest rates are 0.5 percentage point higher than they were 5 months ago. And we're starting to see that they can't make it. And what is happening is a complete implosion of the automobile manufacturers. We saw this back when? 2008. We're starting to see the same thing once again. And those individuals who are delinquent on their auto loans, those people who are defaulting on their auto loans, those cars are also coming back. A lot of people coming off of leases. The whole thing is a complete nightmare. The housing market is in the same exact area where the whole thing is imploding on itself. We saw that mortgage applications, they were down. But what's more important about this is that this is not a one-off thing. This continually happens. where mortgage applications continually decline. And they're declining faster than the little pop-ups here and there, which means the American person, the everyday American person, those individuals that are coming out of college, those individuals that are looking to purchase a house, they just can't do it. Actually, if you look around on Zillow and you look at all the different areas, you can see a lot of houses, they are for sale right now. And you'll see, because they have little red dots all over the place, and if you start looking at them very, very closely, you'll start to see that many of the homes, they've been on the market for a long time. I mean, I'm talking months. Now, every area is not the same. Some areas are doing a little bit better than others. But what happens is, as I've been tracking all of this, it's continually spreading to more and more areas. And something else that's very interesting that has to do with the job market. I know a couple of individuals that work in the New York area, and they have firms that basically help tech individuals get jobs in other firms, either as a consultant or a full-time job. Lately, they've been doing a lot of consultant work because there's not a lot of full-time jobs out there. But what they've noticed in the last 6 months or so, and they're saying it's gotten worse in the last month and a half, jobs are drying up, and actually they can't even get individuals out on interviews, and they have all these people just idle, and there's nowhere to put them. And what that means is, if they're not out there working, and usually these individuals get a per hour rate, those individuals that place them, they're not getting paid either. And I was talking to them the other day, and they're saying that this is a really big problem, and they're a little nervous about what's happening in the economy, because when they look at the unemployment rate, they're saying, well, we're down to 4.4%. I don't understand why this is a problem right now. Now, we've been looking at this for a very long time, and we understand and we know that this whole entire unemployment number is completely fake, phony, and false. Same thing with the housing numbers, same thing with the retail numbers. What they do is they manipulate all these numbers to make you think that the economy is doing well, even though when we look at it and we strip away all the manipulation, we can see what is really going on. And then the other thing that we see when we go around and we drive around or we talk to other people, we can see that things are rapidly falling apart very, very quickly. But everyone doesn't like to admit this. Actually, I remember back in 2008, when the crisis was hitting and the stock market was falling, people were losing their jobs. Even the people in the neighborhoods, no one wanted to admit if they were working or not working. And you could see more and more individuals staying home because they were out of work, but no one was outside saying, hey, I was laid off. Were you laid off? It wasn't like that. It was very, very quiet. Nobody wanted to admit anything. And I think the same thing is happening once again, where there's a lot of people who have been laid off, a lot of people looking for work, who changed work, getting a lower salary or taking on a part-time job or can't find a full-time job, and no one is really talking about it. Everyone's just staying quiet about it because a lot of people get embarrassed by this. So what is happening in the economy right now is that the whole entire system is breaking apart, and it's accelerating right now. We see the Philly Fed right now. Well, this has basically smashed all expectations. It shot up. But the strange thing about it is that employment dropped, new orders dropped, prices paid dropped, but shipments surged, which is kind of odd. And we can see right now that most likely the next go around, we're going to see the Philly Fed plummet just like all the other indicators. Now, Trump is getting ready to push forward the NAFTA renegotiations. He's letting Lighthizer go ahead with the renegotiations, and this is a 100-day or 90-day notification to Congress letting them know that they are about to do this, and we'll have to see how that all works out. Now, something very interesting is that Congress, they're looking at 401ks right now. And we can see right now with surveys that are out there, polls that are out there, that 75% of Americans disapprove of the job our representatives are doing. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because while only about 13% of U.S. employees nationwide enjoy a retirement fund that assures a stable, lifelong income, all 535 members of Congress do. Now, of course, this is courtesy of Uncle Sam. members of Congress, they participate in a federal employees' retirement system, which provides pension benefits of which most American workers can only dream of. Private retirement savers often pay management fees that exceed 1% annually on a lousy investment choice. Members of Congress, well, they pay a maximum of 0.039% for funds guaranteed to match the market. And of course, this was explained away in the beginning because they said, well, government workers, they don't make that much, and they get, health benefits, they get retirement because their salaries are very, very low. Actually, today, government employees are making more than in the private industry. So that whole entire argument doesn't pan out anymore. We also see there's a proposal out in Washington, and what they want to do, they want to end the tax deductibility of your pension contributions so they can give a $1.5 billion tax break to U.S. corporations. Congress is reportedly considering whether to reduce the benefits of contributing to a 401k and similar retirement plans. The new proposal would treat all 401ks and traditional IRA contributions as if they were Roth and IRA contributions. You lose the tax exclusion of those contributions, but your future 401k IRA earnings and appreciation would be tax-free. Some think this could raise about $1.5 trillion in additional tax revenue over the next decade. Well, unless they decide to tax retirement earnings and appreciation too. But right now, any income and gains your 401k or traditional IRA generate don't get taxed until you make withdrawals. But this proposal would impose a 15% tax on those annual gains, raising another $1.5 trillion over the next decade. It's not really a question of whether retirement plans will get a haircut, but how much. And we can see that, of course, Congress, well, they're safe. If you notice, the government always does things to the people. They never touch what they have, and they want you to accept anything they do. And again, it's one set of rules for them and another set of rules for the people. And again, you have to remember, the government is looking to get revenue. They don't have enough revenue coming in to support this debt, to support the interest on the debt, to support everything they're doing. This is why they continually need more and more taxes. And the cycle will never end. Now, Deutsche Bank, they're being sued for running an international criminal organization. And there's an Italian court that's bringing them up on charges. And we know that all these banks, they're doing money laundering. They're part of crime. They're using it for drug laundering. All these banks are doing the same exact thing. It's not just Deutsche Bank, it's HSBC and many others. And we can see that more and more governments, they're starting to realize what these banks are actually doing. Now, something very interesting. The market fell by like 372 points yesterday, but the corporate media started a new campaign, which I find very interesting, where they're out there, and this is almost every major corporate media news outlet had it. They were blaming the decline of the stock market on Trump. Now, the reason why they started to do this, because they started to brainwash the public, just like they're brainwashing the public about Russian collusion and everything else. Because what I see happening right now, as they have this new FBI, this ex-FBI, former FBI individual Mueller come in and run this special investigation into the Russian collusion, they're going to come out with tidbits every so often, and the market's going to go down. And they're going to continually say, oh, the market's going down because of Trump, he's corrupt. And they're going to continually go on and on about this. And why are they doing this? Because they are setting him up to take the fall for the entire economy coming down. Now, we've been talking about this, that there's a battle going on between the central bank and the Trump administration on who brings the economy down and who owns the narrative. Here we are with the news organizations. They're out there already blaming him for what has happened. Now, of course, this has nothing to do with him, because we know the stock market is computer driven. They can bring it up, they can bring it down, they can do whatever they want. The central bank can crash it in a second. But what they're doing is they're creating this narrative because they want to blame it all on him. And you're going to see going forward now, as the chaos continues and as they keep pushing their agenda, they are going to continually use this to blame him. And this is why you need to be prepared and ready, because no matter what happens, the economy is coming down. And when it comes down, it's going to be a disaster either way. And people are going to be shocked. People are going to be surprised because they're not going to understand this. Just like I talked about the consulting firm, they don't realize what's going on. They know there's a problem. It doesn't match the 4.4% unemployment rate. They know that there's jobs out there because the government is telling us there is, but they can't find any jobs to place their individuals. So they know something's wrong, and a lot of people, they feel it, they just can't put their finger on it, and when it all comes down, they're going to be completely shocked because they've been living in a world, even though they feel something's wrong, they've been living in a world where they think that everything is fine, and then everything isn't fine, and all of a sudden their income disappears, their savings disappears, everything completely disappears. And then all of a sudden, this is when the problems come in. So you need to be ready and prepared for what is happening. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.